Coming up on UCF Nightly News, we learn about UCF student Grayson Zlac's recovery after being hit by a car and how his community banded together to support him. Next, how the 2-year anniversary of express lanes on I-4 has helped to reduce traffic accidents on the interstate.
Plus, more on a large donation from Florida Blue and how it'll help with the lack of faculty at UCF's College of Nursing.
Then we tell you about UCF's effort to help our pollinator garden population.
In sports, we look at new pickleball courts on campus, as well as UCF basketball alumnus returns to Orlando.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Ceglio.
And I'm Madelyn Dickinson. Today is Friday, March 1st, 2024. A week that was meant for birthday cakes and candles quickly turned into fighting for his life for the third time. I spoke with UCF student Grayson Zlac, who just returned home after being hit by a car in January and is now sharing his story to help others.
About a month. And then I just got back home last Friday, and the first thing I did was I ate my month-old ice cream birthday cake that I didn't even get to eat.
For UCF student Grayson Zlac, never giving up is the key to life. Just 2 days after turning 19, Grayson was on the way to work when he was hit by a car. After being in the hospital for a month, he was able to return home. However, this isn't the first time he has had to fight for his life. Grayson is a 2-time cancer survivor and was diagnosed when he was just 10 years old.
Never give up. Because no matter how hard life hits you, you can always get back up and keep moving forward. You always got to think about it like maybe, hey, this may be one step back, but I'll, take one step back, 2 steps forward.
Members of the Longwood community that have watched Grayson grow up came together to support him. He says that his hometown has been amazing and restores his faith in humanity. Grayson has worked at this Sonic for 2 years now and says that they are like family. Right after the accident, the Sonic in Longwood held a fundraiser in support of Grayson with his friends, family, and the supportive community. The Sonic in Longwood continues to show their support and is Grayson strong.
A few moments where the doctor came out to me and Michelle throughout the course of his stay where they said it didn't look good and Grayson might not make it through the night. And that was not easy. So if we're able to let everybody know, hey, be more aware, be more mindful, be more attentive to your surroundings so that what happened to Grayson doesn't happen to somebody else.
Just this year, there have been over 1,300 pedestrian crashes in Florida alone, according to the Florida Highway Safety Traffic Report. Grayson says this is why he wants to share his story, to make a difference, all while making people laugh and smile.
I would say, don't get hit by a car. That's a big one. It hurts. It's not fun.
Grayson is now in the recovery process, and you can follow along on his journey by going to his YouTube channel. Ever experienced heavy traffic or seen crashes on the Interstate 4? I-4 is among the most dangerous in the nation, and reporter Isabella Benjumea spoke with UCF students who have seen the danger of driving through there.
If you think you've seen a lot of crashes here in I-4, it's not your imagination. The rate is 3.4 fatal crashes for every 10 miles. I-4 has the most fatal crashes of any interstate in the U.S., according to the most recent National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's crash data. The #1 cause of these fatal crashes is excessive speed. UCF sophomore Ana Ferreira lives by Universal Studios, but she says she avoids this highway at all costs.
To UCF, it's probably like 14 miles away. I could drive around I-4, but I'm scared. It's very scary just because normally I'm driving by myself, and I know like a lot of people here in Florida, they don't respect those laws. They just go, especially on the highway, like it's 80, they drive in 100 miles per hour.
The solution to this, according to FDOT, express lanes. February marks 2 years since the toll lanes opened on I-4. These extend through 21 miles of this interstate, and the Florida Department of Transportation says they are reducing traffic crashes and lane blocking incidents.
With the Florida Department of Transportation, safety is at the forefront of all that we do. So noticing all of those crashes that have occurred led to us making these many improvements for the corridor.
The Florida Department of Transportation said crashes have dropped to 48% on I-4 since express lanes opened. In Orlando, Isabela Benjumea, UCF Nightly News.
The popularity of the express lanes has increased, according to FDOT, and they just might help take I-4 off the most dangerous list.
For the past 25 years, many species of bees and other pollinators have experienced large drops in numbers, according to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I had the chance to see how UCF's Arboretum is doing more than just being a pretty green space, and how being a part of Bee Campus USA has made an impact on the community. Habitat that pollinators need to survive are shrinking, and as native vegetation is replaced by roadways, manicured lawns, crops, and non-native gardens, pollinators lose the foods and nesting sites that are necessary for their survival, according to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. UCF is proud to be the first Bee Campus USA in Florida, actively working to enhance pollinator populations. Patrick Boland is a professor of biology at UCF and currently oversees the Bee Campus USA and Pollinator Garden team. Boland says pollinators help us in different ways, and having the gardens is showing support for the native pollinators.
One of the benefits of that is if you do that, you also then have the pollination of the native plants, which then produce fruits, which are eaten by the birds and the other organisms that go beyond just the insects.
Boland says UCF is currently working alongside UF and a developer in Osceola County who wants to build pollinator-friendly landscapes around the homes. He says engaging in these activities will allow UCF to have a much broader impact in the community and region. You can find these pollinator gardens all throughout UCF's campus. Stephanie Morris, co-coordinator of the Bee Campus USA Pollinator Garden Team at UCF, says that these gardens are essential for many organisms to live.
Pollinator gardens on campus give resources to the pollinators that are on campus, like our bees, our butterflies, our moths, our birds. And it is also giving students opportunities to be in a garden on a college campus to learn what garden management is.
Morris says UCF's role as a bee campus is special because they get to be an example for towns and other disciplines that are trying to be sustainable. She says, with a total of 5 pollinator gardens, the leadership team for Bee Campus USA is always working toward the initiatives to remain a role model for other colleges and universities. Morris says the best way to get your hands in the dirt and get involved in the program is to sign up for the volunteer shifts on Mondays or Fridays on Knights Connect. The Florida Blue Foundation and UCF continue their long-standing partnership, with Florida Blue donating over $1 million. Nightly News reporter Raymond Collado took a closer look at the motive of the donation and what UCF looks to accomplish with it.
Florida Blue decides to continue its 3-decade-long partnership with UCF by donating $516,000 to UCF's College of Medicine, along with an additional $500,000 to an endowed professorship in UCF's College of Nursing. Senior VP for Advancement in Partnership Rodney Gabrowski says this donation will allow UCF to appoint more faculty to the College of Nursing, as a lack of faculty has been UCF's biggest hurdle.
We need more faculty to be able to do that, because as the faculty are aging, there are not people that are necessarily replacing them. And so an endowed professorship really allows us to attract the best and the brightest professors to the University of Central Florida.
While the primary physician shortage may be a problem, with the help of Florida Blue, UCF's College of Medicine looks to take on a different issue.
According to Executive Director of Florida Blue, Susan Towler, Florida is filled with all different kinds of people, and knowing how to communicate with all of them is essential for all future physicians.
We know that our state is so diverse, and we have lots of different people that physicians treat. And it's important to understand culture and beliefs and backgrounds and kind of where people come from.
Despite all this work, Towler says the job is far from done. But with the construction of UCF's new nursing building and the programs, UCF is off to a great start. In Orlando, Raymond Collado, UCF Nightly News.
UCF officials remain steadfast in supporting the next generation of medical care professionals, and with this new donation, students will be able to gain that much-needed hands-on experience.
Students can now find help with federal services right on campus. U.S. Representative Maxwell Frost has launched a satellite office in the student union. Students can seek out assistance from a number of federal agencies in Conference Room 219. A full constituent and services team will be available every other Thursday from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Frost says he hopes to make his office and federal agencies accessible for students.
But there's a lot of services we help people with, whether it's student debt repayment programs or possibly student debt cancellation, whether it's passports, SNAP benefits, food stamps. We just want to make sure that our office is accessible to everyone.
repfrost.us/UCF satellite. Hey Carly, it's been pretty hot recently. Do you think it's here to stay?
I sure hope so. Ron, what can you tell us about today's weather?
Well guys, let me tell you. Currently we sit at 79 degrees, giving us some very nice weather to go outside. We got some wind moving 9 miles per hour northwest, and no rain is expected to come down, making it a little cooler compared to the last couple of days. It will be cloudy all day, which gives you the perfect opportunity to go out and support the Knights in their respective sports. I will have more updates on the upcoming weather later in the show.
Coming up after the break, we look at spring break trends in the U.S. for this year.
Plus, we'll learn the new hurricane names for the Atlantic hurricane season. We'll be right back.
U.S. President Joe Biden was given an annual physical this past week. Biden was examined at the Walter Reed Military Medical Center on Wednesday. Biden's only health change from last year is that the latest use of a PAP machine to help with his sleep apnea, according to Biden's physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor. Dr. O'Connor also stated that Biden's arthritis is moderate to severe, causing his stiffened walk. President Biden did not receive a cognitive test because a neurologist stated he did not need one, according to the White House press secretary.
A recent AAA survey shows new U.S. spring break trends for 2024. Florida is in the top spring break destination this year, with a rising number of tourists ready to hop on cruises. However, those looking to cruise for spring break may find some trouble booking this year. According to AAA's travel data, Florida cruise bookings in March and April increased by 28% from last year. Port Canaveral, right outside of Orlando, remains the busiest U.S. home port for cruises in the U.S. in 2024.
NASA and SpaceX are moving the launch date for a 4-person mission from Kennedy Space Center. Due to high winds, the launch is rescheduled for tomorrow night. Launch weather officers predict a 40% chance of favorable weather conditions for Saturday night's launch. The mission destination, the International Space Station, as a part of NASA's Commercial Crew program. Those looking to catch the launch can watch it on the NASA app or the SpaceX website.
We are exactly 3 months away from the start of Atlantic hurricane season, and there are some new names for storms this year. The National Hurricane Center goes through rotating lists of names for storms that reach tropical or hurricane status. This year's list was last used in 2018, when Hurricanes Florence and Michael caused catastrophic damage to the U.S. coast. The new names for this season are Francine and Milton. To track potential storms for this season, you can check out the National Hurricane Center website for more information.
Now we check in with Ron to see what we can expect for the weather over the weekend.
Plus, look forward to the weekend. UCF softball hosts their annual tournament. More on that from Isabella after the break.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what the weather is looking like around the nation this weekend.
Embry-Riddle student meteorologist Jillian Pretty shows us the forecast nationwide.
Good afternoon. The main weather story this week is going to be over on the west coast. They have this low pressure system that's just off the northwest coast of them, and that's going to be bringing a lot of both rain and snow to the area. And also attached to this low pressure system is a cold front that's going to also be contributing to this rain and snow, but also be dropping temperatures possibly below average for this time of year. Here's the snow accumulation over about a 24-hour period. Notice in the Sierra Nevadas up to 40 inches. That's a lot for only about a 24-hour period. Not only is the low pressure system going to be bringing lots of precipitation, it's also going to be bringing very strong winds to the area, upwards of 85 miles an hour into the overnight hours Friday into Saturday. Moving over to the East Coast, we also have a low pressure system that we are monitoring. It's going to be bringing a lot of rain to the East Coast, but also attached to it is another cold front. And I'm going to throw it back to UCF to see how this cold front is going to be affecting the Orlando area.
Thank you, Jillian, for breaking that down for us. Hey, Carly, do you think we'll need an umbrella again this weekend?
I'm not sure, Madeline. Maybe a sweater instead?
Let's see what our weather anchor Ron Preddy says about the weather and if we'll be seeing more rain this weekend.
Thank you, guys. So let's look at the state going all the way across. So on our lows, Tallahassee is still at 55 degrees. They're still in that mid-50s, and Jacksonville is still at 58. So they still haven't gotten out of the 50s yet, but that's coming up soon. With Orlando and Tampa, they're both on 63 degrees. So starting to get up to that high lows. And in Miami, we have a nice 71. I know spring training is down there, so they are in perfect weather. Now, looking at the highs, Tallahassee is still at 71, right? Low 70s, still going to climb up there. So is Jacksonville at 74. Orlando starting to get to the 80s, as well as Tampa, as Orlando's 80, Tampa's 81. Miami, staying in the 70s, 79 before that heat creeps back up. And now if we start looking at a 5-day forecast, over Saturday and Sunday, we'll get some high 70s and some low 60s as our highs and lows. Chances of rain are 25% on Saturday, and the highest percent you will see on this forecast is on Sunday with 55%. So don't be surprised if some rainfall comes during the weekend. Moving on to Monday, the theme remains, with the high being 79 and the low being 61 with no rain expected. Finishing it off with Tuesday and Wednesday, temperatures won't really change from the previous days, but we'll see an increased chance of rain over those 2 days with 25% of rain on Tuesday and 45% of rain on Wednesday. So we have beautiful weather all across the week, so you can be able to go out and do stuff before the sun just comes up and starts beaming and, you know, all the sweating and stuff. You can have beach days, but it is still a little cool for the beach at this moment, so you probably don't want to do that. But if you have any sports intramurals at UCF or any other club sport at UCF that you want to do to go watch a game, either softball, I know Isabella's going to preview that and a little bit later, or she's going to talk about it a little bit later. But that's all the time that I have for you guys today. Back to you guys at the desk, Carly and Maddie May.
Thank you, Ron. After the break, we take a look at the new pickleball courts at the RWC.
Plus, more on UCF basketball's highest draft pick, recent return to Orlando after the break.
What's up, Knights? I'm Isabela Benjumea, and here's your sports update. March celebrates Women's History Month, and the campus is preparing to celebrate the festivities. Throughout the month, students can look forward to a variety of women-oriented events that are meant to uplift and inspire the student community. Women's basketball and tennis events will vary throughout the month and will take place on the respective fields. A special Women on Weights program will take place in the RWC, which is designed to teach female identifying patrons to lift weights with proper form. For more information on Women's History Month events, students can visit the UCF events page. Students can now serve dill on UCF's latest courts. Pickleball courts are now available for use at the Recreational and Wellness Center. The RWC recently renovated tennis ball courts into smaller pickleball courts. 4 courts are open for students to compete or play throughout the day. They plan to convert another tennis ball court in the future. Student Alex Wininski takes part in the intramural sports pickleball competition. He says the new courts will make it easier for him to compete against fellow players.
I like that they're like a lot closer together, so you don't have to like run all the way to the end of the tennis court to pick up the balls. It's great that they added the courts because you used to like have to wait a little while to like get on a tennis court, and there wasn't as many courts. So it's a lot better now that there's 4 more and you can just hop on.
Courts to be available by the end of this year. UCF softball hosts their annual Knights Classic tournament this weekend at the UCF Softball Complex. The Knights will be facing off against number 22 ranked South Carolina, Princeton, Kennesaw State, and Bethune-Cookman University. They have posted a record of 14-3 throughout the last 2 Knight Classic tournaments and will look to improve on their 5-1 home record this season. The first pitch is scheduled for 3:30 p.m. on Friday versus the Princeton Tigers, the first of 2 games for the Knights on the day. The highest draft pick in UCF basketball history made his return to Orlando on Thursday. Taylor Hendricks was drafted 9th overall in the 2023 NBA draft by the Utah Jazz after 1 season at UCF. He's the only lottery pick to come out of the university. Hendricks managed to lead the team in points, blocks, rebounds, and field goal percentage in his only year as a Knight. His 59 blocks ranked 7th all-time in UCF history. Hendricks scored 10 points and grabbed 7 rebounds in Thursday's 115-107 loss versus the Magic. That's all the time I have for you guys right now. Bouncing it back to you, Madelyn and Carly.
Thank you, Isabella. That's all our time for right now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on our website, nicholsonstudentmedia.com.
And if you've got a story idea you want us to know about, send it our way. You can reach us at nightlynewsucf@gmail.com. Thanks for watching and have a great day.